When life gives you lemons, you make limoncello. But what do we do if life gives us limes? Well, we make limecello too, of course, and today we're going to show you how to make both. Yum. Now, to make a lemon or limecello, depending on what takes your fancy, you're going to need a couple things, namely jars, chopping board, and a bunch of lemons and/or limes. Because the beauty about limoncello is that it's incredibly simple in its nature. The bulk of the flavor really is just the fruit. So you want some good quality lemons that basically look visually appealing because you're going to zest them, take off the peel, and that's where you're going to get that lemon flavor coming from. It's not going to be coming from the juice at all. So I've got a bunch of lemons in front of me that I need to work on peeling. What we're going to work on doing is making sure that we can get the peel without getting too much of the pith. So here you can see it's a fairly clean peel right there. We've left all the pith behind, that's the white stuff. That white stuff is going to make it taste kind of astringent and bitter. So you basically want to peel all of these as thinly as you can so that you're maximizing the lemon flavor without getting any of that bitterness. Now we're going to cut to a little bit of B-roll because I've got a lot of lemons to work through. So I'll be back to you soon. There's a hair on that one. Don't use that. Extra flavor.
A hairy lemon. It's a furball, man.
Sounds like a craft beer flavor, the hairy lemon. Now we are aiming for about 70 grams of lemon peels with this one. Plenty of people make limoncello using like an old Nonna's recipe, and it's like use 4 lemons and a cup of vodka and stuff like that, and that's fine because like, you know, often these types of recipes are handed down and it's like a pinch of salt, a grab of this type thing. But I'm a scientist by nature, so I like accuracy and I like to measure things accurately by weight so that I can repeat and improve upon recipes. I know that I want half a liter of vodka sitting at 92% ABV, and I want to add to that 70 grams of lemon peels. That's what I'm working with as my baseline recipe. So you can scale up or down as you wish. The first time that I made limoncello, I was a wee little lad. I don't know why I've gone old Cockney. Oh, I don't know why I've gone old Cockney for an Italian drink.
For a wee little lad as well.
I remember when I was a young Luigi, my nonna took me into the kitchen in the casino and she said, you know, Mickey, you want to make the good limoncello? You need to make it. You need to make it with a lot of a very good lemon and a lot of vodka. No, first time I made limoncello, probably like 5 years ago, 5 years ago-ish is what I was going for there. I had a lot of iterations with my limoncello. There are certain things that I like to do that are not necessarily traditional, and that comes more around the sweetening side of things, which we'll touch on in a little bit. But I don't want my limoncello to be so sickly sweet that it attacks my teeth. I want the sweetness of it to complement the citrus of the lemon. I like it to be balanced. So you can scale up or down the sweetness as you wish, but we'll touch on how I like to do mine. I think I've got a pretty unique twist on how I make my limoncello. That shot of whiskey is getting to me. Getting a bit tongue-tied.
I need a shot of limoncello.
I need a shot of limoncello. You know what, let's get a shot of limoncello. The other thing my grandmother used to say to me is, you know, when you make the limoncello, you need to be a little bit sloshed with the limoncello. So that is how we make the fresh batch. I actually think this one might be limecello. I've got a little bit of cork in that. I've got a suspicion this one's limecello. So the cloudiness is starting to fade, the vibrant color is starting to fade, and I dare say the flavor is very likely starting to fade. Limoncello is one of those drinks that really, fresh is best. It will last like most liqueurs and spirits do, as long as you keep it cold, but you know, if you want that real pop of character, there you are, cameraman. Salute.
Salute.
Limecello. That one was limecello. I love limecello. If you've never tasted it, you're gonna thank me after this recipe. Back to peeling. Almost like peeling the potatoes. How many nations can I offend in one video? Aren't in Kansas anymore. And there's the Deep South. My failing attempt at it. Now, if you're kind of gonna get hung up on the numbers and worry about do I have enough lemons or whatever, always go for more is better than less. This is one of those times in life where less is not more, because you can always dilute your lemon spirit down after the fact, but you can't add flavor once a product's already finished. So you're better off it being too much lemon than being not enough lemon. When life gives you lemons,
get more.
Get more. We're done. Finally, that's a lot of beautiful looking lemon peels. Let's find out how much we have to work with. I dare say we probably have more than the 70 grams that I prescribed. We definitely do, because we're already at that. So that's fine. We're gonna make a super lemony limoncello. And again, if there's too much lemon flavor, I'm just gonna dilute it down later. So that's absolutely beautiful. That is 120 grams on the nose. Now, let's grab some vodka. Here is my vodka. Now, what vodkas can you use is a very good question when it comes to making this stuff. You can just use store-bought vodka, totally fine. Generally speaking, the higher ABV the vodka, the better, because that higher concentration is going to do a much more effective job of pulling out all the oils and flavor compounds out of the lemon peels. So you can use regular, like 40% store-bought vodka, but that higher concentration is going to save you time and just get you, quite frankly, better extraction. And then of course you can dilute it down afterwards, because you don't want to drink a 90% lemon drink. So if you don't have the ability to distill your own, because of course we would never do that. We're good law-abiding citizens here. Never, never, never do anything like that here. But if you don't have the ability to distill your own, you can get higher proof vodkas from the liquor store, or even something like Everclear, which I don't know how common it actually is here in Australia, but I know that in distilling circles over in the States, it is quite popular. So those are your options, I guess. In this case, we have a definitely not homemade version, which is sitting at 92% ABV, as I mentioned earlier. I like that high concentration because it's going to really help me with my extraction. That's 500 mils there. Let's chuck in all of our lemon peels. And then we're gonna rinse and repeat all of this with the limes. Beautiful. Now the goal here is you do want to kind of have enough lemon peels that it's sort of filling up the entire space of the spirit itself. Does that make sense? Like I got it filled up to there. I want enough lemons that it's gonna loosely kind of fill up that entire area. And all we need to do now is literally close this thing up and leave it for a few days. Generally speaking, 3 days is gonna be enough. Bonus brownie points if you are willing to wait a week. You don't really wanna wait more than 2 weeks, or you're gonna start getting weird, bitter, astringent off flavors. So, you know, go for about a week if you're really trying to get maximum flavor without ruining your product. Now, the reason I really like Limecello, even though it's a little bit not so common or a little bit out of the box, is because I really, really love margaritas. It is one of my favorite cocktails. I love the zestiness of a lime, the way that it's got that sense of depth and extra sweetness and almost pepper-like quality, that zest quality that seems to just be missing from a lemon. I find lemons to be a little more one-dimensional than a lime. So whenever possible, when I'm making cocktails, I will always use lime juice in the cocktail rather than lemon juice. So I decided one day, let's try and make a limoncello, and it turned out it was freaking delightful, and it makes an excellent mixer to make other cocktails with after the fact. Like you could make a really easy margarita, or you could use limoncello and spritz, limoncello and like sparkling white wine, blob them together, and it is the most refreshing, delightful summer spritzer. It's absolutely awesome. You should definitely try it if you haven't. But we're going to be following the same principles here. So we're going for basically the same amount of weight of lime peels as we were with the lemons to the same ratio of vodka. Yeah, good example here. I was a bit distracted and I was peeling a little bit deep. Too much pith. We don't want that much pith. I've never had too much of an issue with bitterness coming from the limes, but try to be careful not to peel off that much pith. So I'm going to try and do more gentle peels now. Is that better? Slightly better. These limes are just thin-skinned. They can't take a joke.
You're a lime, mate. You are a lime.
You're a lemon. Whiskey made my life go home. I don't know what the words are.
Whiskey is the life of man.
Whiskey, Johnny. But this is a Limoncello episode. We're not talking whiskey. If you want to learn how to turn your beer into whiskey, link to that video right on up there. We've got our limes ready. Let's measure them out. I don't think we're going to have the same weight of... Oh, why did I not put that on? I don't think we're going to have the same weight of limes, but I think we will have enough for what my base recipe usually is. We will find out. Wow, lime skins weigh so much less than lemon skins. Wouldn't you know it? That is 61 grams. Not as much as I want, but we're going to run with it anyway. So we've got our half a liter of vodka. We've got our thingamabob. What I might actually do, because we don't have quite as much limes as I'd like, I do like at least 70 grams per that half a liter of vodka. So I might just fill this up to the point where it's covering that layer and then hold it there. Just to make sure that we're not gonna have a diluted limoncello, because as I said before, you can always dilute flavor, you can't add flavor. So I'm actually gonna leave it like that, and that means that was 250 mils. But if you're gonna do this at home, just scale it up if you want more bottles at the end of this. This was 3, 6, 9 limes, so I guess go with 18 to have a half a liter's worth of lime spirit. But remember, we are gonna end up with more actual drink than this because we still have not diluted it yet. We're basically gonna end up with double what this original liquid is. Now, we are gonna see you in about a week from now because there's nothing left for me to do today except drink some more limoncello. We'll see you soon. It has now been 6 days since these peels and everything have been soaking on the skins, and this is how you, well, first we've got to strain it out to figure out how much sugar and other stuff we need, but I also do want to pull out one of these peels. We probably could have left it for a few more days, but once it's soaked for a few days on the alcohol, it gets kind of like weirdly brittle and pale in color. This is not completely 100% pale yet, so I think we could have probably gone 3-4 more days, but honestly, I think we have enough color and enough flavor extraction by this point that we are pretty much safe. So just strain off your peels and then measure what you have to work with, because the goal now is I've got a certain sugar to spirit ratio that I like working with. Whoops, and we've lost some spirit. But we also need to know how much spirit we have to work with so we know how much we need to dilute it down by. And we have got, I think that's about bang on 400 mils. Now, this looks quite clear at the moment. It doesn't look like limoncello yet, but that's a part of the magic of louching. So I'll explain that in a bit after we get our sugar and our special ingredient. Now, we are ready to measure out our sugar. Traditionally with a limoncello, you'd probably just use standard table sugar, white sugar, but I always find that it kind of attacks your teeth a little bit. It's a little artificial in the mouth, a little bit one-dimensional. So I like using raw sugar. In this case, we are going to use 160 grams of raw sugar measured on the scales. And there we go. Oh, one more. A little bit. There we go. Nice. It doesn't need to be super exact, but again, I'm doing this by metric units so that it's really easy to replicate and really easy for all of you guys to follow along. Next, we want our agave syrup. So typically with a limoncello, you're just going to use white sugar and then the lemons and the spirit. I like doing a combination of the raw sugar because I find it gives a little more complexity to the mouthfeel. It's a little less one-dimensional and it doesn't attack your teeth so much. And agave syrup has this really almost earthy, spicy sweetness to it, almost like honey. If you understand what I mean, it's just got more. So I like to go a little bit of agave to supplement. In this case, I'm gonna be going 30 grams of agave. In we go. Very nice. Now, we need to dissolve this all because it's quite useless to us right now. So this is gonna be 430 mils of boiling water. I promise this is water. It's just a little bit of lemon spirit tainted at the color of pee, but it is absolutely water. And now we just want to mix it to dissolve it. You could do this over a hot plate if you really want to, but honestly, if you're just going to use some boiling water and just mix it a little bit with a spoon or something, you'll be absolutely fine. Louching is really, really fun to watch, and it's a little bit of science in action. Essentially, what we've got right here in this lemon spirit right now is a whole bunch of oils and everything in suspension because the alcohol content is strong enough that it keeps the liquid clear and it keeps everything dissolved, basically. It's soluble at the moment. But as we lower the ABV by adding water, we cause what's called louching. So all those different oils and everything will pop out of suspension. They won't be soluble anymore because the alcohol content isn't strong enough to hold it. A really common example of this is with absinthe. Absinthe, you would pour out of the bottle like 70%, but the idea of drinking it is that you dilute it with icy cold water until the point where it goes like a milky white, milky green, and that's when you hit louching. So what we're going to do right here is cause it ourselves. We've got over here, how much water? 770 milliliters of water going into our 450 mils of lemon spirit, and we will see how it goes from being completely, oh look at that, it's so cool. How it went from being very clear and very dark to very, very pale and milky and absolutely louched. It is so, so fun every time you get to do that. And this is where you get the cloudy effect of limoncello. If your limoncello doesn't go cloudy like this after diluting it down, it means you did not use enough lemon peels. So you should always get this milky, thick looking consistency despite the fact that it's not. That's louching. Now, let's mix our ingredients together. Now, there's two reasons why I wanted to dilute our spirit down first. One is because I wanted to show you guys the louching effect because it's just so, so magical to watch. But two is I just always dilute my limoncello, limecellos, etc. down to 38% because when I figured out my recipe originally, that was the number I did it with. And now I always do that, so I have a kind of a constant, so to speak. I always know if I'm going from 38 and then adding the sugar and stuff after. I'm kind of keeping an exact ratio. You don't have to do it that way if you don't want to. But now I'm gonna add my sugar syrup, and this volume is going to bring this down to 25% ABV. Oh, the other reason I also dilute the lemon spirit down first is so that I'm not adding too much boiling water into this to the point where it's going to start evaporating off and damaging the alcohol, which is useful because I never wait for my sugar syrup to cool down. And there we have it. We have successfully made some delicious limoncello. Yum. Now, I'm going to pop this into a bottle. We're going to whack it in the freezer and then carry on to make our limoncello in the exact same way. Once they are finished, we can have a little taste. Now here's the beautiful moment. We get to watch the louche happen all over again, this time with the green-eyed monster. Oh, so cool. Oh, absolutely beautiful. I actually think we had, because I didn't actually measure this one out properly, sorry guys, but I actually think this one had a little more alcohol left in it, but this is a great example of being halfway louched. So you can do the same thing with a glass of gin. If you pour a glass of gin at home and then start gradually pouring in water, you should see the same effect because all the botanicals that are used to create gin have a bunch of oil and sugars and carbohydrates and stuff in there, and that will help you create a louching effect at home. So you can do it in many, many different ways with liqueurs, but now as we add in the rest of our sugar syrup into this, we'll hit the rest of our louche. That is looking like a treat I'd like to drink. Now, let's pop this one into a jar and get it icy cold. Dunskies. And there we have it. We have a beautiful limoncello, traditional Italian, and over here to the right, we have a little bit of a wombat creation with the limoncello. Now, the ideal way to drink this is straight out of the freezer because the alcohol content of these is about 25%. They should not fully freeze, but what you'll get is like little tiny ice flecks inside your glass when you take your little swigs. So pop it straight in the freezer, it'll be absolutely fine, and then you can drink to your heart's content. We'll cut back to you when these are ready to drink. Now here we have our final results. They are icy cold, fresh out of the freezer, and as I said, there's so much sugar and alcohol content in these, they will not freeze over. So treat it like freezer vodka. Never take it out, it will stay fresher and it's served better. Let's go in for a taste, shall we? That's so good. Oh my God, that's so good. So that's the thing that I love about using raw sugar and agave. It's not the sickly sweet that attacks your teeth and sits in the back of your throat and just overpowers everything. It's kind of a more, organic's the wrong word, but a more natural sweetness, I suppose. It's got more depth of flavor. And that agave syrup, I always find, just adds that little, that last little 2% finishing touch. It just, it makes it so damn delicious, so drinkable. And I love that that lemon peel to, you can see the legs on that thing. And I love the lemon peel to alcohol ratio. It's just so fresh, zesty lemon. It's absolutely beautiful. But let's go in for the Limoncello, which is the oddball here. The color is a little darker. It's more like a, I don't know, like a swamp green, but not that dark. A Shrek green. I promise, it tastes better than it looks. Oh yeah. I forgot how much it tastes like margaritas. I love the Limoncello. It's zesty and almost peppery, but not peppery. It's that zestiness that lime has that lemon just doesn't. I find it to be such a versatile liqueur. I absolutely love sipping it just like this, but as I mentioned, you could make a cheat martini or a cheat margarita by using your Limoncello, mix it with a bit of tequila, and you're basically good to go. But drink with caution. When you're using this in lieu of lime juice, wow, it can knock you on your butt when you make those 5-shot margs. But both of these are absolutely incredible versions of lime and limoncello. I would love to hear what your recipes are down below, because I'd love to explore further variations of making these types of liqueurs. I also do need to say a thank you to our Patreons, because they are a massive support to our channel to help us keep producing new content, fresh ideas, and basically sustain this stuff for you here on the great interwebs. I'd really also love to hear what kind of liqueurs or cocktails or anything in the realm of booze and bloody good times that you'd like us to explore. Drop a comment down below, because I think now it's time for us to explore some other stuff besides just beer on the channel. But in any case, guys, thank you very, very much for watching. Actually, before I let you go, if you do want to learn how to make the best spiced mulled wine, there's a link to that right on this screen over here. So go check that out. And until next time, salut.